What are some healthy ways to handle creative burnout and client feedback?
I think client feedback ka to I would say, let's I a lot of times I this is generally for any type of design. I think while it very exactly applies to graphic design, I think it's also relevant for any of the other fields, is that the client already has a mental picture of what they want. They are never completely clueless about what they want, or at least in the cases that I've been through. um, it's about understanding what is their mental picture and just basically showing it to them what they want,
Want to see,
the
right?
picture that they have already created. So that, let me rephrase that. um, to make sure that you receive less feedback and less iteration rounds, I think you should really spend some time talking with them thoroughly, and also asking them if they already have any references that you can see that they really like, because they are looking at something in the similar space. This is not to say that you should copy it, but you get a lot of guidelines as to what they already think. So start with that, spend a lot of time doing that, so that you don't have to keep on receiving feedback and iterations. Now let's say you've done all that, and this is your third round, fourth round, and it's just not stopping. I think then it's time that you really put your foot down and be like, okay, this is third, fourth round, and sure, we can iterate if you have that kind of time, but this should be charged separately. And it's even better if this is something that's cleared out before you even begin the work, which is something you can keep in your contract, कि you would get 3 rounds of iteration and uske baad we would have to charge differently. So in that sense, you don't feel bad after a point, even if it's like going on and on and on. And if it's really not going anywhere, then to you would have to stop it, because then there's no point. But even in that case, I feel like you should be paid. What do you think about it?
Of course, yeah, you should be compensated for the work you've done.
Yeah.
And it did happen to me once where I had been going through endless rounds of reiteration, uh, and the clients I have unfortunately worked with, some of them have had a lot of clarity in terms of what they wanted. So I have delivered the final product or the final outcome in zero iterations sometimes, and sometimes it's just like two or three. But in some cases, it's exceeded 15.
Oh,
On the
15
15th,
is crazy.
and this is not this is me not keeping a technical track of मजा नहीं आ रहा है. मतलब 15 बार तुम मजा नहीं आ रहा है जब तुम सुन चुके हो, मतलब लाइक वो वाइब नहीं है, लाइक आई एम सॉरी मैम, आई एम नॉट चीफ वाइब ऑफिसर, sorry, that's not my role, that's not what you hired me for.
You should
But
go to Troy Sivan, because he's the chief vibes officer of Absolute. But sorry.
everything, yeah. So yeah, there have been such instances where, like, on the 15th you're trying to get a design right, and like, let's say you are 7 8 iterations in, they say maza nahi aa raha and they want you to try something new. I am like, I am not being compensated enough to try something that new. Right? Like, I've already spent 5 days on this, and you want me to scratch that? So in such cases, I've had to terminate projects, and I have given like a very detailed, I mean, when I'm terminating such a project, I generally give a detailed list of all that I've done. Like, this was like a project that I had taken up back in 2023. It was right after graduation, around June, July, I think. And I was like, hey, this is a list of everything that I've done, and this is not working out for you. I understand, but I've already done a lot of work, and I don't think I'm going to be in a position to expend my creative resources any further in this direction. I understand that, um, you know, you might feel like I have not fulfilled my end of the bargain, but I do feel saturated with this project and I don't think we are going anywhere. So I'm completely fine with, like, I at least demand three-fourths of the payment to be made,
True,
or at least, like, generally I take an advance, but in cases where there are no advances given and so much of the work is extracted, at least three-fourths of the payment has to be made. This person was actually kind enough to make the complete payment.
oh wow.
And yeah, they made the complete payment, even though, I mean, back then I didn't quote um, as much as I should have quoted, keeping in mind the amount of work that I had done. But yes, yeah, that happened. And sometimes you can deal with client feedback, but sometimes it genuinely does get out of control. It genuinely does become something that you can't continue to put up with, which is fine. As far as burnout goes, I mean, create pockets of boredom for yourself, create a self care routine that does not involve screens, go for long walks, I guess, or like allow your brain to meander a bit. Like when you let your brain just wander off, you get a lot of ideas. You see a lot of beauty even in the most mundane things, and that is something that slowing time down is something that you have to voluntarily choose to do to be a better creative.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same lines. I feel we did talk a little bit about this last time, but yeah, I think boredom is really essential. Just give थोड़ा सा empty space जब आता है ना, that's the only time when you are you know again full of new ideas. And don't do it for the sake of new ideas even. Just look at it as a break from everything. Let's see if
Mm,
you're मैं तो I recommend this a lot. If let's say you're in the gym or you are just like walking down somewhere, don't even put music on. Just walk, or just
mm,
you know don't let कुछ distraction ही नहीं चाहिए. Just be there. Let's say you are at a doctor's clinic and you have to wait. There are a few patients in line. Just sit. Don't even use your phone, and you would find it so interesting how you would start looking at little details that are around you. And this is really important because these are things like when you actually go and immerse yourself, it's I won't be able to tell you exactly how it helps, but it really, like, the more your observation develops, the more a context you have about things, you can work on a variety of different projects. So yeah, I think just be present for a while, and that would definitely help regain that creative energy back.